Hello everyone, this is Ronnie from YouTube, raw vegan, raw foodist, fruitarianist, founder of the UK Fruit Fest. Keep calm and eat a banana. Have a banana. What am I going to talk about? Well, tomorrow we've got a webinar if you want to learn more about the UK Fruit Fest, fruitfest.co.uk/webinar. Anyway, I'll mention that at the end of the video. Did an interview with Wendy from the Dutch Fruit Festival. If you're looking for a fruit festival to go to, or looking for an event to learn more about raw food and things like that, then Dutch Fruit Festival is another option for you if you've not heard of that. And thoroughly recommend it. Never been to it, obviously it's only the first year, but thoroughly recommend it for the person that is running it, Wendy. And if you're in Holland, there's no reason not to go. There's really no reason not to go. Or if you're nearby or whatever, there's people going from all over the world actually to it. So get over there, have a look at the website, dutchfruitfest.nl, I think. And we were having I was interviewing her about her story and her raw food journey and everything, and we just did a kind of regular interview. At the end of it, or the next day, there was a big comment from Don Bennett, who is a practitioner of raw food diet and kind of a mentor or a coach, a speaker, teacher of the raw food diet, who I became aware of through the Woodstock Fruit Festival. And I think probably a lot of people became aware of him through the Woodstock Festival, and now he's kind of like one of the main teachers there. Now that other people have been thrown out or whatever. But Don made a big thing about Wendy saying something about supplements. I actually didn't even remember Wendy saying anything about supplements in the interview. I didn't really clearly remember it, but Dawn made a big deal about it, wrote an article, made a big reply to Wendy about it. Wendy's made a reply about it. And the whole thing is about, I think she said something about supplements. She didn't believe in supplements, or she didn't like them, or something of that nature, and he made a big deal about that. Now, the thing about supplements is, as far as I see, is that people get obsessed with them. This is the problem. People get absolutely obsessed with supplements, with the idea that they are deficient, when usually it's almost always in their mind. Self-diagnosed hypochondriac behaviour from people who buy into the idea that their natural diet is not good enough, or the soil's not good enough, or something's not good enough, something out there is not working out. But the crappy diet that everyone else is on is that's fine, and they all end up going back to the crappy diet, and they think that that's better. This is balanced. This has got more stuff, thingy-me-jigs, some kind of a fat that we don't even require because our body makes it, but we need it. We need the sheep version or the pig version of it, right? This is what people actually believe. And fish, we need to eat fish in order to get the flesh and fat of a fish, because that's what nutrition is all about. Eating animals from the ocean that our ancestors would have never, ever in hundreds of millions of years encountered. Well, let's say tens of millions of years. Hundreds, primates have been around for tens of millions of years. Did primates encounter ocean fish when they were in the sub-Saharan tropical jungles of Africa? I'm thinking probably not. They might have encountered some fish in a lake or something. I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't have been particularly well adapted to get them. Going into the lake would have been dangerous. I don't think our ancestors were jumping and were living on fish. And the human body is not particularly good at digesting fish and other things like that. So anyway, but raw vegans get obsessed with supplementation. And they also get sold supplementation quite easily. It's not that difficult to sell a raw vegan supplements. They're quite open to it. Or sell them a supplement, a green powder or something. Just say this is from the good soil. This is good stuff from the good soil. All that fruit you're eating, that's from the bad soil, because that's the agribusiness industry. That's the bad soil. This is the good soil. The supplement that I'm selling or recommending is the good soil. But that's the bad soil, that's the good soil. Bad soil, good soil. Do you see the difference? Bad soil, good soil, minerals, no minerals. Even though the green, here's the fantastic thing. Here's the fantastic thing. Even though that green powder is usually made out of grass. Why is it made out of grass? Because it's cheap, right? It's made out of grass because grass is the cheapest thing in the world, right? So let's make a nutritional supplement out of grass. Literally, it's made out of grass. Barley grass or whatever, or some grass. It's made out of grass. Right? Think about the roots. You can pull grass out. They're talking about the topsoil, the bad topsoil. The roots of grass go down like, a couple of inches, a couple of millimeters. The fruit trees, how far are their roots going down? Way down into the soil. A tree, way down into the soil. Way down and out into the soil. So the issue with the topsoil being eroded, it doesn't really affect trees as much as it might affect grass. But somehow the grass is better than the trees, and there's no science to show this at all, and there's no science to show that the fruit that we're eating now has less nutrition than previously had. There's different varieties that have different proportions of things, but there's no information suggesting that there's anything to worry about, or that it's any significant difference, or it's any particular problem that we need to worry about. Essentially what we're saying is, let's trust the farmers. They know what they're doing their best, they're not trying to harm us, they're trying to make good food. If they don't make good food, they don't sell it. If they can't sell it, they don't make a living. So they've got a real reason. Their own greed and selfishness will actually work in our advantage, because it'll make them make something good that we want to buy. So anyhow, supplements, and people get obsessed with supplements, absolutely obsessed with them. Neurotic and obsessed, and neurotic and obsessed, just like people get neurotic and obsessed with diseases that they don't have, symptoms that don't exist, problems and conditions that might not even exist at all for anyone, but they might think they have it. And Don is obsessed with supplements and supplementation and people being deficient. He is absolutely obsessed with that, unfortunately, and it completely unbalances his entire philosophy. It completely unbalances the whole thing, because it is what he is completely obsessed with, and it is what he wants to speak about almost entirely. Hey Don, could you speak to us about the raw vegan diet? Yeah, sure. The raw vegan diet is a diet where you have to take B12, vitamin D, iodine, a green juice powder every day. Wait, Don. Sorry, how much fruit do you eat? Well, it doesn't matter, because there's not enough nutrition in the fruit anymore. So even if you eat enough fruit, it doesn't bother. And you have enough vegetables, it doesn't really matter. We're not even designed for vegetables. We shouldn't eat vegetables, but we should have green barley juice powder, because that's a vegetable. But hey, we don't really need vegetables. We're not whatever. You need to worry about this. Iodine, vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin B2, vitamin B3, B4, B12. So eventually Don's going to get to the point where he's basically recommending you supplement virtually every vitamin going. To me, he's just totally obsessed with it. He actually has said, like, you should worry about your vitamin C levels, because there's no guarantee the vitamin C that we're getting enough. Yeah, there is a guarantee. we're getting enough vitamin C. There is a guarantee. Firstly, we don't have scurvy, but way apart from that, if you're eating a fruit diet, you're getting way more vitamin C. Even if it was really depleted in vitamin C, you're getting way more than would be minimal, to avoid any problems. So, but he's also talked about like essential fatty acid uh, deficiencies, and I don't even know if that's a thing with a name. You know, someone, some town or some mystical place where people got an essential fatty acid deficiency, and everyone had a particular disease like that. That's not happened. So deficiencies are a thing in human memory that are like, and I say memory, I mean it's something that happened. It's not something that happens. It's something that happened in the way distant past. When people ate a diet of starches and not much else, or starches in meat and not much else, and even then the starches would have to be like made or processed in a certain way so that they were refined or something, so that they were incomplete in certain nutrients, and and people got some bunch of deficiencies. They were very clear and very obvious, and it wasn't something that you were just, oh, I'm a wee bit tired today. Maybe I've got a deficiency. That's, oh, I'm feeling aggressive today. I must have a deficiency. This is what people start doing. Start diagnosing themselves with deficiencies. A deficiency is like your face is falling off. Like it's a terrible, like horrendous thing. Like if you just look into things, like look at pictures of people with scurvy or pellagra, beriberi, night blindness, all these actual deficiencies. Terrible, right? Very obvious symptoms, very big problems, right? And the other thing is, I feel like the most successful raw vegans I've met aren't obsessed with supplements. The long term raw vegans, they're not, but they're not against supplements either. It's not like they're dogmatic for or against. They are open to using them. They just don't have any need or feeling or reason to use them. So they're not going to use them just for no reason, but they would be open to using it if there was a reason to use it. So that's what I see. But my issue with this is, and my question to Dawn a lot of the time is like, that all the people I know that I've ever known that worked with Dawn, and I'm really trying to think of anyone that that doesn't fall within this criteria. We're not raw vegan, or are no longer raw vegan, or are no longer vegan. And I'm talking about almost every single person that I've known that has worked with Dawn, coached with Dawn, and everything else. A good example is Megan Elizabeth, who made a video, so this isn't like private information. She made a video of working with Dawn and how he was the go-to guy for her when it came to health and everything. And now she's eating meat and stuff like that. So I'm guessing that Dawn is no longer the go-to guy for Megan when it comes to health. And she even talked in her video about how she was just doing supplements and all these different supplements. She just got obsessed with supplements. Supplements are not the answer, almost never. If it's the answer, then it'll, it's like I just see that as veering into the medical side of things. The maybe you need to go to a doctor now side of things. If you've got some really bad symptoms of something, let's make sure that it's not something else. Let's make sure that you think you've got B12 deficiency, but maybe it's actually something else. Maybe it's something much worse. Maybe it's not vitamin D deficiency you've got. Maybe you've got cancer. Maybe you've got, I don't know, some other horrible problem. I don't want to scare anyone, but the idea of like, oh, well, that's me cured now. I've got my supplements. Like it's just not a responsible way to go around these kind of situations. So, I yeah, I just see this obsession with supplements and obsession, and it always leads people back to a crappy diet. Like they never, it's no, no one seems to ever go, oh, I was raw and then I got a B12 deficiency and now I just take B12 and now, like there are, I guess there's some people that do that, but so many people, it's like when they start to buy into that idea that the fruits and vegetables don't have enough nutrition anymore, that's just a killer idea to buy into. It kills your belief in the idea of eating a raw vegan diet. Totally kills your idea of your faith in in fruits and vegetables, and it makes you think that you cannot eat this way, and then eventually people go back to eating rubbish. And Megan's one of those, and, and what can I say? What can I say? It's just something people get obsessed with supplementation. So Don is totally obsessed with it. He cannot go a day without mentioning it. If someone posts something about how good they feel in a raw vegan diet, it's almost like you'll see Don jumping in and saying, "Yeah, but you need to make sure the food from the agri industry is not going to do this and that, and you need to make sure that something else." And it's like, Don, you're just shitting all over this whole diet. Like, we're trying to get new people in. We're trying to actually get some life back into this movement, right? We're trying to resuscitate the raw vegan movement here. We don't want you to kill it as we're trying to resuscitate it. As we're trying to bring people to Woodstock, and you're the first person they go and watch, and you're saying, sorry, you can't do this diet. You need to have all these supplements. You might as well just go back to the crap you had, because you didn't have to take supplements then. That's what people are hearing, whether that's so. I'm always thinking about that. I'm always thinking about what's the actual what's the actual thing that people hear, regardless of what you're trying to say. Right, man, I've got so much time. My phone has all of a sudden given me so much more time in these videos, so I would usually have stopped by now. So my goal is to try and one of my main goals is actually to try and get Don to stop speaking about supplements, because it's really not a big issue. It's really not a worry. He seems to be so worried about all these raw vegans that are potentially having these problems, and that's why they're going back to eating meat. It's not. Not one of these people went back to eating meat because of a deficiency. Not one single one of these people. And if they do say that, it's just something they're saying. We need to stop believing in the stories that people tell us. I'm eating a balanced diet now. Rovana was saying, I'm eating a balanced diet and it's working for me. Like, Rovana, you're in a restaurant eating restaurant food. This isn't like, what? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. This isn't you making a healthy choice. This is you in a restaurant with a bunch of people drinking wine and going back to your whole, I don't know if she was drinking wine, I can't say that, but eating like just whatever the restaurant gave you, as if this is like this is me following a balanced diet now. Terrible, like just horrendous, and it's so sad to me. I'll make another video about this because I don't want to go into it. But anyway, supplements, don't get so obsessed with it. Don't get obsessed with it. So many of us have been doing this diet years without even thinking about supplements. Not thinking about it, but without doing supplements. So if you're starting off, it's not the thing to worry about. Try and get on the program. Try and get the diet right. If you need to think about supplements sometime down the line, no problem. There's really no worry. You can take a multivitamin thing if you want, if it makes you feel good about yourself, but you're going to a diet where you're having much better nutrition now. You survived for so long in a terrible diet. I think you're going to do okay in this diet. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. As I said, if you want to learn more about the UK Fruit Fest, we have a webinar tomorrow night and one on Friday. You can go to fruitfest.co.uk/webinar to learn more. Fruit Fest is coming, 6 or 7 weeks time. It would be good to see you there.